Hello, welcome. I am your host, Dali. Welcome to our live audience on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Amazon Live, and of course, our podcast listeners. We appreciate you and your service. This is a Veterans Radio Show, and without you, we would not be able to have this segment. So hit that subscribe button right now, and please share this episode with any other veteran or supporter that's out there. And also, bring in the questions as we're live. We love to see them coming in, so do not be shy. So we're doing a slightly different segment today. I'm going to invite Kelly Bagla from our Bagla Law Firm and our founder, Joe, into the show today. And we're going to be talking about a very different topic that pertains to a lot of business owners. So whether you're a small business owner or large, we're going to be talking about AI, the artificial intelligence tools. And since we have Kelly, our expert attorney, she's going to be answering a lot of some of our questions. So don't be shy and go ahead and post those questions online. So welcome, Kelly and Joe. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you, Dolly. Always a pleasure.
Thank you,
Likewise.
Dali.
You're welcome. So, okay, I want to get started by asking first to Joe, because I know, Kelly, you know all about this. Joe, how much do you know about these AI tools being used for, say, like content creation?
You know, we came across when was initially launched in November, December, and it was just amazing of the many things you can do with the little time that used to take. So creating and I think keeping in mind that this AI is, I mean, it's brand new. It just started in its infancy. But what I notice is, and I get questions from members, is what can we do, or what can we say? How can we protect ourselves, or what can we show that is not going to be affecting our business or um, opening the business up for complications, lawsuits, or when it comes to copyright, all those things, because it's very easy nowadays to create images, to use images, to change images, and now they have the deep fake approach, which is something that I want to ask Kelly about later, because that's a real issue. And this is just the beginning. I mean, 2 years, 3 years from now, we want to have this conversation again because things are going to change drastically. And especially in the US, we have a lot of regulations, but other countries do not. But they're allowed to come into the United States and kind of create the deep fake messages. So that's why
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very happy to see Kelly's here with us today.
Oh, me too, me too. Because one of the tools that I recently tried was the GPT OpenAI,
Right.
um, and I'd never heard of it, to be honest.
Mm.
I knew that these type of tools existed, but I'm always kind of like one of the last people to find out about these tools because I don't trust very well with stuff online. But let me tell you,
Smart.
I must say, I've tried it out. And of course, I create content for my own business on bullying awareness and prevention. So I just started asking it questions. And because I already have done the research myself, I was able to see how accurate the information was. And it was pretty impressive.
Yes.
Not only that I saw the benefit of asking it questions was that if you are somebody trying to gather information, very quickly, it really reduces the amount of time to do the research. However, don't trust the whole thing, whatever comes up, as if it's like, from solid primary sources. You still have to check because, again, it is still developing and it is not perfect. There's humans behind it. So that's one thing I wanted to say. And then, of course, I do research in the spaces of social media and how social media are using these tools. And one that recently came out was on Snapchat, where a lot of teens are using it. And since I'm always thinking of from the perspective of how can I keep my children safe online, how is this tool going to impact children, right? So Funny enough, I saw an article from the parent company that created that AI tool. It's called My AI on Snapchat, and it says, "Please do not share any secret information or sensitive information on here because it is not secure." And I keep telling my children, like everybody else, like, "Hey, the world of privacy is no longer here." Social media has been amazing. It's been created for good and for not so good things. So this is where I want to talk to Kelly about that and ask, because I've heard so many issues with it, like plagiarism. Or like, what are some of the legalities that we should know before using an AI that could implicate our work, or the validity of the information that we get from there. So, Kelly, what are your thoughts on it overall? Let's start there.
I would love to jump into this conversation with you, Dolly and Joe. But prior to, I do have to release our disclaimer. Any information that I share with the audience today, with you, it's only for informational purposes, and it does not create an attorney-client privilege. That being said, Dolly, before we jump into the legalities and what AI actually does for people nowadays, how would you define AI?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question, because I don't really know the official definition. I just know that it's an artificial intelligence that helps you gather information from other sources. It finds quickly with algorithm, and it just delivers it to you instantly. That's how I know it. But yeah, if you know a better clarifying one, please share.
I think everyone's understanding of AI is exactly what you had just shared. I would like to literally provide a definition that is not legalese and it's very, very easy to understand. And also, what does AI do? So let's start off with that first. Joe, before I do, what's your understanding of AI?
I think it's pretty similar with DALI. I mean, it's a algorithm that goes out and searches the internet everywhere in the internet, which before you had to rely on one particular source, but now it goes out and searches everything they can find and provides the information to you, but in a kind of conversational way. So it doesn't just provide you links, but it provides you the actual data that you are searching. And with artificial intelligence, you get to talk to the computer as if it was a person. So that's what they call the prompts. So based on the prompts, you get the answers that you're looking for. So that's my understanding.
Perfect. You are both correct if we're going to expand that definition. So, AI, literally artificial intelligence, is computer technology that simulates human intelligence. Right. I know. Let me repeat that one more time. It is a computer technology that literally simulates human intelligence. So, what AI is supposed to do, it's supposed to recognize patterns of the individual. It's supposed to, and this is a really scary one, it reaches conclusions for you.
Oh, wow.
This is an even scarier one, especially in the legal field. It makes informed judgments for you. How? How is this AI computer technology creating a judgment for me, especially in the legal field? And also, it is supposed to predict future behavior. That's what AI is supposed to do. So I guess we're going to have, we've seen movies. Hollywood is infamous with this, where they create robots now for everything.
Yes.
And right, Dali? And so you go into the future and you have robots running everything. But this is where it starts from. I am not I don't believe in these theories and what have you, but who knows? Because right now technology has made everyone's life easy. Everyone. Before it used to take months and months and months, right? From getting from California to even Arizona. Now we're there in a blink of an eye, literally. And technology itself is going to keep evolving and evolving. But AI is a tool that literally needs to be understood by people and what its intent is supposed to be. For example, not sure whether you know this, Microsoft, GitHub, And OpenAI that you mentioned, Dali, earlier, they are currently being sued in a class action lawsuit. Those three big tech companies are being sued in a class action lawsuit, accusing them of violating, and this is what Joe touched upon earlier, copyright law. They're literally violating copyright laws. So, for example, an AI tool is going to go out there and it's going to search the entire net for, let's say pit bulls, right? So we send out pit bulls and search the entire net and tell me everything you need to know about pit bulls and show me photos of pit bulls as well. Well, not only is it just breaking copyright law because it gathers from everywhere, it's also breaching the license part of any photos or images that someone owns on the internet. And it's literally taking from there and is providing you as the individual looking for that feedback from it's breaching everyone's technology, it's breaching everyone's intellectual property, and it's also breaching the ownership of certain images. Now, for example, everybody has probably heard of Getty Images. Getty Images, they are notorious for making sure that if their photos are used on any website without their permission meaning that they need to pay for a license. I will provide you the image, but this is going to be a yearly license or it's going to be a 5-year license, but you're going to pay for that. With AI is not distinguishing between copyrighted material and or images and photos that are owned by people that someone would need a license for. So it's brand new. People are using these types of tools, maybe to get familiar with, maybe on a larger scale. But I can certainly tell you this, there is an actual AI tool used for attorneys, transactional attorneys like me that draft and write constantly and does research. Guaranteed, it cuts our time in half. But for this AI tool to make a informed judgment, to make a definitive conclusion for me, that and as an attorney, I would be 100% responsible for that if the AI tool drafted a letter on my behalf and sent it out to the client and it wasn't true, because I'm not the one that reviewed it and I'm not the one that sent it out. So there are it's the world of technology really blows my mind, Dali, because I'm not a tech person at all. I have to always call my second in command for everything. and talking about, seeing these tools that have been implemented, again, it's new. And as soon as we start to maybe settle some of these lawsuits, there should be some definitive law put in place that people can actually say, okay, you're not allowed to do this now based on this case law. But whoever is creating the AI, it has to be tamed where it needs to recognize this is someone's copyright or this is someone's licensed image. But how is it going to know that?
That's a good point.
Yeah, very good point. That is really scary because if it's searching the entire web, that means it's going into patents, like you just said, copyrights. Anything that people put out there, even if it's deleted, that's something that I always tell youth. Like, you might post something right now, delete it later, but it's still findable if
Always
people know
out
how to
there.
find it. Right. Yeah. And it reminds me of iRobot, to be honest. Like when I first was told, because I'm like you, Kelly, like I'm not tech. I don't have a good relationship with tech. I know the benefits of it. I know it's good for you, but I do also see it as kind of like a hindrance in our own intelligence. For example, I have noticed that when the spell check became automatic on all devices, my own spelling capabilities have kind of decreased in certain areas. And I thought it was just me, and I started sharing that with other people, and they were saying, oh yeah, me too. Sometimes I doubt, I look at the word, I'm like, wait a minute, but then spell check does it for me, so I don't have to worry about that. That is also an AI tool. A lot of people don't see it that way because they're like, oh, it's just spelling. It's so underestimated of the power that it has. Just like in our text messages, they have the auto text where it is learning your behavior, and Apple has said this and Android has said this, where it will try to learn or anticipate the words that you're going to type out in the conversation based on prior behavior and what they expect you to how to use it again. That is an AI tool. Siri, an AI tool. Alexa or Echo or whatever they're called.
Right.
and and the scary part is that these tools are supposed to evolve, continue to learn our behavior, and continue to anticipate how we're going to use them. And in the scheme of it all, what bothers me the most is that, yeah, they're marketing these tools as a convenience to us, but it's also a huge data collection of humans so that they can continue to sell us their products. That's what it comes down to. Yeah.
You're
So,
absolutely right, Dali. Especially when it comes to human private information, like right, protected private information of humans. And now the AI doesn't even distinguish between that. And so you're absolutely right.
Mm.
Where does the privacy stop? And where is someone with an AI tool allowed to use that information? And even with Word, Dali, I've noticed drafting away, and all of a sudden, Word will start suggesting, okay, well, this is what you're doing. Maybe this is the next word you're going to use. I was really surprised when I first saw that. I'm thinking, wow, this does make life easy, but it's not always true. And it's predicting what I'm going to say. Uh, Completely agree with you. The privacy part of it, there are certain states now. I believe there's probably about 13 states currently that are implementing privacy laws. California did so earlier, and there are other 13 states. And so maybe that might hinder the AI capability, but we're not sure.
so what would you say to entrepreneurs who are using AI to create content? What are some warning signs, if there are any, or what precautions should they take?
I think they need to initially review everything. You absolutely sure use your AI tool to do research. Research is fantastic, but you have to be able to distinguish, where did this information come from? Is it protected property of someone's? Does it fall under intellectual property? Does it fall under private protected information? And do I need a license to use this image or photo, or a certain amount of wording? Because that could be copyright infringement. Initially, you feel like this is saving you time, but it's a catch-22. Do you want to save time? Yes. Do you want to get sued? No. So you have to literally, you can collect all the information, but you have to go through it as a human would.
And that's a really good point. And we have, I believe, 2 minutes, 1 minute. So it has gone really fast. And I think privacy is a legal issue that we must be aware and address, because this is just on ChatGPT and other similar products, but also the ability for ChatGPT and software developers to have the ability to kind of view content through our computers, through our webcams, through our cell phones. And for what I have seen now with this new technology, you can basically open any phone and access their password or get their Wi-Fi access to it, things like that. So, which should be completely illegal. How do we protect those things? So, if it's okay with you two, I would like to kind of bring this subject back on the topic of privacy and security legally, and how do we protect, how do we help legally the businesses to make sure that they are on the forefront. Like Kelly, you do a disclaimer when we start the show. How do we do a disclaimer or something like that in front of our websites, in front of our emails, so people understand that that we are being protected, or we make them aware of something. So, yes.
That's a fantastic question, actually, Joe. Fantastic, because companies, because of privacy laws, companies are required now, and it's the FTC that oversees websites. And when someone puts in, say you have a newsletter and you want people to subscribe to it, Just putting in your name, that's considered private information. Putting in your email address, it's considered private information, even if it's on the website everywhere. Literally, I'm on the website everywhere. You just have to Google Kelly Bagler and you'll see me everywhere.
You're
But
everywhere.
exactly, my contact information is everywhere. However, if I go to a website and I put in my information because I want to subscribe to their newsletter, that is considered private information. Now I take a look at their website privacy policy. Again, there's got to be 3 sets of documents that must be on everyone's website. It's required by the FTC. The terms and conditions of a website, the privacy policy, and also a disclaimer. So that's where, as a business, you are going to tell anyone that visits your website, what are you doing with that private information? Right? Are you going to be selling it? Are you going to be just collecting it? Are you going to use it to utilize and analyze your traffic coming into your website? Are you going to use it to make your products better? How are you going to use that information? And each company is required by law to make sure that they disclose this. If they do not disclose this and their information gets out, that company will be sued in a heartbeat.
That's a great thing because, I mean, especially business owners who develop websites on the whim, and then just there's a lot of things that we're not aware of. So that would be a great topic, and that we can discuss next time.
Love
Privacy
to.
and protection on different levels, and how do we make ourselves align with the regulations based on the states or the countries.
Yeah, that's a really good copy because right off the bat, Kelly, I'm letting you know now. Next time, I'm going to be asking, about all these attorneys that sell like blanket privacy statements, for people's websites, and I always wonder how safe is that. But we can talk about that next time. But thank you so much to both of you. This has been a really good topic. I think that we don't talk about it enough. I think it's talked about in the tech industry among tech experts who know what, the lingo and everything. But those of us who are not in that space, I think we need to educate ourselves more about that so that we can not only protect ourselves from getting taken advantage of, but also from breaking the law unknowingly. So I hope that everybody has taken something away from this episode, and please share it. If you have any questions, remember that you can always post them live, or you can even email us in the questions. And we'll see you until next time. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.